The rain poured heavily outside the grand marble mansion of the Williams estate. Security guards stood straight under umbrellas, waiting for the luxury car that was pulling into the driveway. But before the car even stopped, a small commotion erupted at the gates. A young man, soaked in rain, holding a backpack, was being pushed out by a guard. His face was paled, his clothes dirty, and his voice cracked as he said, "Please see Broken Bar, just tell him I'm his son." The guard laughed bitterly. "Mr. Williams doesn't have a son like you. Now get lost before I call the police." Inside the car that had just arrived, a tall, elegant man in his 50s stepped out. Daniel Williams, one of the city's most respected millionaires. He was known for his cold precision, unmatched business sense, and heart made of stone. But the moment his eyes met the voice of Broken Bar, he froze. His breath caught, because that voice, that face, though older and worn, was unmistakable. It was his son, Broken Bar Ethan, the son he hadn't seen in 7 years. Chapter 1. The son he forgot. Daniel stood motionless as the guard shoved Ethan out the gate again. For a moment, he thought his eyes were deceiving him. But then Ethan turned, the same deep brown eyes as his late wife staring back, filled with pain and desperation. "Ethan," Daniel whispered. The guards froze instantly. Ethan's head lifted in disbelief. "Dad?" he breathed. Daniel rushed forward, his voice trembling for the first time in years. "What's going on here? Why is he outside like this?" The guard stuttered. "Sir," he said, "he's your son." "Bota." Daniel cut him off sharply. "He is my son." Everyone fell silent. Rain dripped from Ethan's hair as Daniel gestured for him to come inside. The servants watched in shock as the boy, once heir to the Williams empire, walked back into the mansion he had been thrown out of years ago. Inside, Daniel ordered fresh clothes and food, but Ethan sat still, staring at the floor. The warmth of the fireplace couldn't melt the coldness between them. "You've changed," Daniel said finally. "So have you," Ethan replied quietly. The silence stretched. Daniel's mind replayed the past, the bitter arguments, Ethan refusing to take over the business, choosing instead to volunteer abroad after his mother's death. Daniel had called him a fool, told him to leave if he wanted to waste his life, and Ethan did. For 7 years, no calls, no letters, until now. "What happened to you, son?" Daniel finally asked. Ethan looked up, eyes glistening. "I came back a Broken Bar because I had nowhere else to go. My NGO lost funding. I was evicted. I just wanted to see you, maybe talk a Broken Bar, maybe work with you." Daniel's heart clenched, but pride chained his words. "You left me, Ethan. You made your choice." Ethan smiled bitterly. "And you made yours, to be a millionaire with no one left to share his table." The words hit like thunder. Daniel turned away, hiding the tears forming in his eyes. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He walked into his late wife's study and stared at her portrait. "What have I become, Millie?" he whispered. "Our son was out in the rain, treated like a stranger, a Broken Bar because of me." The next morning, Daniel called his assistant. "Cancel all my meetings today. There's something more important I need to do." Chapter 2. The father who remembered. Daniel found Ethan early in the garden, repairing an old bird feeder. His hands were rough, but his heart was gentle, the same way his mother had been. "Still fixing broken things, huh?" Daniel said softly. Ethan looked up, surprised. "Someone has to," he replied. Daniel smiled faintly. "Maybe it's time I start too." He stepped closer. "On a Broken Bar. I'm sorry. I was too proud to understand what you were doing with your life. I thought success was money. You were trying to help people." "You were right. I forgot what it means to be human." Ethan's eyes softened. "I never wanted your money, Dad. I just wanted you." Daniel nodded, his voice cracking. "Then let me start over, as a father, a Broken Bar, not a boss." Days passed, and for the first time, laughter echoed in the Williams mansion again. Daniel joined Ethan in his outreach programs, visiting shelters, schools, and hospitals. The media was shocked to see the billionaire cleaning park benches and serving food to the homeless. Reporters asked why. Daniel simply said, "Because I finally remembered who taught me compassion, my son." Months later, at a public charity event, Ethan stood beside his father as they announced a new foundation, the Emily Hope Project, named after his late mother, to support underprivileged children. The same guard who had once thrown Ethan out was now shaking his hand in apology. Ethan just smiled. "We all make mistakes. What matters is what we do next." Daniel looked at his son with pride. The boy he had lost had returned not just to his home, but to his heart. Resolution. Ending message. That night, Daniel sat beside Ethan on the balcony, watching the sunset over the city. The old bitterness was gone, replaced by peace. "You know," Daniel said quietly, "when I saw you in the rain that day broken bar, I realized how blind I'd been. I thought I had everything, power, money, respect. But without you, I had nothing." Ethan smiled faintly. "You found your way back, Dad. That's all that matters." Daniel placed a hand on his son's shoulder. "No, son, you found me." The screen fades to black as soft music plays at the rain that once separated them, now a memory of reunion.